Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, let me give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Wakar, Kodash. Got the double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel that rule and teach well. And shalom and barakatah to the hopeful elect scattered across the four corners of the earth. Their brothers and sisters doing their due diligence in truth and sincerity. This is just going to be a short lesson. The Spirit came on me. I watched a video early today of one of the elder brothers out there in GMS Camp Holland. He done a beautiful edifying lesson on mindfulness, because coming into this truth, as men, we need to be mindful of everything, everything we do. And so the Spirit was on me to do this video. Even as I at work today, I said to myself, I'm going to do a video when I get in. And through the power of Yahweh Shai, Most High's got me doing this lesson now. So Lord willing, it's edifying and then somebody can get something from it, So let me start off with the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 2. And it reads, verse 1, and it reads, My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in a time of trouble. So we know that when we come into this truth, man, when the Most High called us into this truth by Shema Mashiach Yahushai, that we're going to be in for even more temptations in this place, man, because this world that we live in is full of temptations anyway. Everywhere you look, or everywhere you go, this place is trying to tempt you, into its wickedness, because this place is built up on wickedness, So we're constantly being tempted in this kingdom that we're living in. But the scripture says what? It says, set your heart aright. And we know that's not talking about your physical heart, that's talking about your mind, So when you come into this truth, part of coming to this truth is putting off the old man and renewing yourself, renewing your mind, man. So when the scripture says that we set our heart aright, that means that we be mindful. It also means that we be mindful. So let me just take that from the top again. It's Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare. See that? Prepare, man. See? So it says, set your heart aright. And to set something in order is to prepare it, man. So it says, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in a time of trouble. To set your heart aright, man. To be mindful. And it says what? To not make haste in a time of trouble, because times we make haste is when we're not being mindful, man. Is when we're not thinking, And that's when haste will take its place. Because when you're being hasteful, that's the opposite to, being patient and being mindful, man. Because we're meant to think before we act. And we know that like the scripture said, that we go and be hit with temptation after temptation coming into this truth, man. That's why it just says, prepare thyself for temptation. So like I was going to say, part of that setting our heart aright is us being mindful. Like the brother said today in his video, which was a beautiful video. Beautiful edification on the video too. And this is 2 Timothy chapter 1 and 7. And it says, for Yahweh have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So, when you come into this truth, man, and you read these scriptures, the scripture says, blessed is he that readeth, man. And the scriptures also talks about, that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time. And this scripture, these holy scriptures that we have, man, this is where you're gonna find that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which shall be the stability in thy time, man. Which will do what, man? Which will give us the chance to set our heart aright. And a heart aright by what? By knowing. Because when you know, you're not overtaken by anything, or you're not, should I say, you're not surprised when you know what at least you're not meant to be. So it says, God have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. See that? So being sound-minded, man, and being mindful in this truth is a very important thing, man. And it's for us, as men of the Lord, to be mindful in everything that we do. It's for us to set our heart aright, man, coming into this truth. And being mindful is us really thinking and meditating on everything that we do. The scripture says, roughly paraphrasing, it says that a wise man shall fear in everything, and in that day he shall be aware of his roughly paraphrasing. But what that scripture is basically telling you is that if you're wise, you're using wisdom, you're going to fear in everything you do. You're going to be mindful about all the things that you do, stepping into this truth. Why? Because we know that temptation is going to fall upon us, man, coming into this truth. And we know that temptations, since we came out our mother's wombs, temptation has been there. But now stepping into this truth, we know that more than ever. And then temptations will come onto you sevenfold, man, coming into this truth. So you got to be even that bit more mindful, man, and set up your heart aright even more so. So it says, He hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So, in this truth, man, us brothers are meant to have a sound mind, and that sound mind is this wisdom, knowledge, and this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Salakia. And us being of a sound mind is so important, man. So important. The brother hit on so many points today. There's so many points he went into that I'm not going to get them all out in this video today. But there's so many poignant points that came out today that I didn't even really think about myself too much, So, the most I put the spirit on me to do this video and let's talk about being mindful in this truth, man. Because the affairs of this life, man, are carnal, man, and you're going to be tempted left, right, and center in this truth, man. So it's just like it's a constant battle to set your heart aright, man. Let me get 2 Timothy's. There's another precept in Timothy somewhere, Salakia. It says, this is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4, and it says, no man that warreth, because that's what we're doing, man. We at war with the flesh, man. When you come into this truth, man, the temptation, man, and that temptation can only come about through the flesh. That's what the Satan's tempted, man, the flesh, man. So it says, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life. It says, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. See, and what are the affairs of this life, man? The affairs of this life are anything outside of these scriptures, man. So the affairs of this life are what, man? That's work. Our brothers need to work, man. That's relationships in this world, man. It's relationships in this world, especially with those that are not in this truth, man. Worldly people, man. The scriptures talks about us not being even equally yoked with unbelievers. So even that's entangling ourselves with the affairs of this life. And that's part of them temptations, man, because we're still in this flesh and in this world, we're gonna be tempted by the temptations of this world, man. But it's for us not to entangle ourselves with those temptations, with those things, and to be mindful, man, to be mindful that we even doing that in the first place. And it says, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. So a soldier is made to fight, man. So we got to be fighting this temptation in the flesh daily, man, and being mindful, and setting our hearts aright, And I pulled up that word in the online intermon, mindful, and it means having knowledge. See, the knowledge of the Holy Scriptures, man, which is what? Which shall still be our stability, man, in the times ahead when everyone else is bugging out and then in that state of confusion, and then what they're entangling themselves with the affairs of this life, man, this carnal place that we're living in. It says recognition, which is what? Recognizing, man. Yeah, and that's you being mindful, is what you recognizing that what you're going off, man, that you're doing too much, that you're mixing your emotions and your feelings with the truth, which don't mix, you know? Because to deal with truth, you have to come out of your emotions, man, and out of your feelings, you know? So that's part of being mindful too. Like the brother said today on his video, and it says heedful, and being heedful. That's hard. That's a hard thing to do for Israel, man, because we're stiff-necked people and a rock-headed people, man. So we don't like to take heed, man. Especially when it comes to the word of Yahweh Shem Shai. Our people hate to take heed, man. So it says recognition, recognizing, and being heedful, man, of a good memory, which also goes into that recognizing. Because to recognize something means that you've either seen it before, or you've heard it before, or you felt it before. So that's part of that, having that good memory. And this heart, man, the scripture says the heart is wicked and deceiving above all, and desperately wicked. Who can know it, man? And that's why the scripture says what? Not to entangle ourselves with the affairs of this world, because this fleshly body that we're in, and the heart, the wicked hearts that we have, will try to draw you into to try to entangle you in the affairs of this life, man. And it's going to do its darndest and it's just doing its job too. This fleshly heart that we got is just doing its job, man. But it's for us to do what? Be soldiers and battle, man. Battle the flesh. The spirit and the flesh are battling every day, man. If you're in this truth, man, you're going to be fighting that fight, man. And doing what? And preparing yourself, man, for the temptations that lay ahead. Hey, left, right, center in this place, man. And setting your heart aright by being mindful, by having the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shai, by recognizing, by taking heed, and having a good memory. And the scripture says what? That things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. See, that's having that good memory. That's reading the scriptures and recognizing that what? That the prophets of old, our ancestors of old, Hamashiach, they stayed in the spirit, man. They stayed in the spirit because they were tempted too. Yahweh Shai was tempted, man. But what? The Most High didn't give him the spirit of, let me get it. It says the Most High had not given us the spirit of fear. It says the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And that's the spirit Hamashiach Yahweh Shai was in, man. And it's for us to bear our cross and to the best of our ability, follow his ways, that his examples that he set forth for us, man. The foundation, the chief cornerstone, man. The Most High is building. And it's for us to set our hearts aright and try to endeavor and be good soldiers, Salakia. By setting our hearts aright, man, and constantly being mindful of everything we do, man. Not entangling ourselves with the affairs of this world. Not being emotional and carnal, but dealing with the truth, man. And letting that prevail over everything else. That's the battle, man. That's the daily battle, because a sound mind, man, everyone talks about in the world, they just want a peace of mind. They're just looking for a peace of mind. But really, is that the case? Because the more they say this, and then the more they entangle themselves with the affairs of this world, man. And a sound mind takes for you to be a spiritual. It takes for you to be fighting against that flesh. It takes you ruling. You've been able to rule your spirit, man. Because if you're not ruling your spirit, then that means that the mind, the deceitful heart is taking control, man. And that's going to have you get angry. That's going to have you get emotional when you do, like, obviously we're in this flesh, so we're gonna have emotions, man. We're gonna have feelings, but it's all about doing what's setting your heart aright, putting those things into order, knowing when, how, and if you should be using those things, at which time you should be using them, or if you should be using them at all, man, or getting into them things at any time, or if you should be getting into them at all, you know. But if you're doing what, if you're, if you're reading, you're getting into the word, and you're seeing the things that are written aforetime for our learning, and you're recognizing and being heedful to the word, then these are things that are gonna not make you stray towards being carnal and what's what does the scripture say when it says that we be not shaken, man? 'Cause this place is gonna shake you, man. That's what temptation is to do, is to shake you. Is to get you off the narrow path that you're trying to walk, and look everywhere else but in front of you, man. It's gonna be trying to make you do everything else, then your eye be single and have that what do they call it, man? That tunnel vision, man. And when you're in a tunnel, there's only really two ways you can look, and that's either forward or back, man. And we don't want to look back. We don't want to look back. We want to look forward, man, and have our eyes single, and not entangle ourselves with the things of this world, man. Peace of mind, man. The only way we're gonna get peace of mind out here is to believe in the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and have faith in those words, man. And that be our stability and our comfort, because this world was designed to get you out the spirit, man. This world was designed to make you forget. Hence why we be mindful, man. Hence why we need to be mindful and recognize and have a good memory, man. That word mindfulness means, having knowledge, recognition, heedfulness, and a good memory. And all those things are needed in this truth, man. Otherwise, temptation will overcome you, man. Temptation will overcome you, and you'll succumb to the affairs of this world, man, of this life, man. This what we call life. And we know we're not even really living on this side now. And we know the men that are living are those that are, adhering to the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. They're alive, man. We're alive, man. While we sit and watch the rest of the people go about daily, our loved ones, and they in the congregation of the dead, man. Because they don't consider it all. Scripture says, what the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass is roughly, let me get it, man. It says, but Israel doth not consider. And our people don't consider, man. And they're not trying to set their heart aright because they don't even know, they're not getting in the scripture, so they don't even know wrong from right, man. So they're going to let their emotions and feelings rule them. And we can't afford to do that in this truth, man. We can't afford to let your feelings and emotions rule you in this truth. That's why scriptures talks about being steadfast, man. Steadfast, man. Fastened, not shaken, man. Because these tests will come. These tests will come in the flesh, man. Things that are gonna try to get you angry. And that's daily, especially us knowing who we are, who the other nations are. You'll be at work working with the other nations, and they might, I don't know, they might say something cheeky through the spirit, and that might rile you up, man, because we also have a ruling class mentality, but at the same time, Tani, we're still being oppressed, and this is not our rest in our kingdom, and so we still have to have a level of humility about us, even though we do have a ruling class mentality. It still needs to be a balance, and for us to be mindful of how we're moving, man. You might get angry at a heathen at work, and your heart's telling you, you want to do him something, or you want to say this and say that, but is that going to bring you the peace of mind that you're hoping for, man? That's what it means to be mindful. Because most of the time we disturb our own peace, man. You know, we could have peace at times, and then the flesh will make you do something to where you're just like, okay, I've gone and done that now. And another thing about being a man, just a man in general, is that you're going to be responsible for your own actions, man. The scripture says that what we reap what we sow, man. What a man sow, that shall he also reap, man. So most of the time we disturb our own peace by what? By entangling ourselves with the affairs of this life, man. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 20, 26 and 3. And it reads, "Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee." You see that? Because he trusteth in thee. It says, "Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, man, on Yahweh Shem Shai." And that's a man not entangling himself in the affairs of this life, man. That's a man being mindful. You know, and that's where you're going to have the peace, man. You stand in these scriptures, man. You know, the scripture says that what? That we seek the kingdom of heaven first, man. And all these things shall be added unto thee. And we know what? That these scriptures, man, this word, man, the word of Yahweh Shem Shai is meant to be our first love, man. You know? And not the affairs of this life, man. Not your wife, not your children, not your friends, your so-called friends, your family, man. This is meant to be your first love. And he said he will add all those other things onto it, man. So as long as you're doing right by the Most High, he's going to have it to where you won't have to worry about those other things. And you shall have peace, man. Let me read that again. It's Isaiah 26 and 3, and it reads, "That will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed upon thee, because he trusteth in thee." See? Because he trusteth in Yahweh Shem Shai, man. And if you're there trusting in the affairs of this life, it's only going to lead for upset, man, and unrest, man. That's why scripture says that there is no rest for the wicked, man, roughly paraphrasing. Why? Because they've gone and entangled themselves with the affairs of this. First of all, they don't even believe in Yahweh Shem Shai or spiritual things or have faith, to say the least. So that's why they don't have peace, man. That's why they don't have peace. And it's funny as well, because when you do, you know, ground yourself to a level in this word, man, that peace is going to come. But guess what? Those people that are not in peace, man, they ain't going to like to see you in peace, man. That's what I've noticed being in this truth over the last couple of years. Now that you have truth, other people are in the world are envious of that peace that you have, man. That stability that you have, man. Because they don't know how to obtain that, or they don't know how to be mindful enough to rule their heart or their spirit to a certain degree. Because we know that Yahweh Shem Shai rules the hearts of men. But we have to be mindful and you know, try our best to try and rule over this flesh, man. To fight that battle and be a good soldier, man. It says, "Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed upon thee, because he trusteth in thee," man. Hey, and I can attest to that, man, because obviously, like scripture says, man, that when thou come to serve the Lord, prepare yourself for temptation, man. And like we being tempted, Satan's tempting us brothers in this truth all the time, man. Even more so, man, when you come into this truth, man, you're gonna be tested, man. But that peace of mind that the scriptures talks about is found in Yahweh Shem Shai, man. And I've never been, I've never been more at peace in my life. You know, not having to. And part of that reason why is because we know what's to come as well, man. You know, and we deal with reason, man. We deal with reason. You know, even in the world they'll say, "Oh, everything happens for a reason," and then the next thing you know, this was an accident, or this was an accident, or if there's an accident and there's no such thing as reason, then, and just because you don't know the reason doesn't mean that there isn't one. That's what another thing people fail to understand, man. Because once someone don't know the reason, then what? Then it's an accident. And if you're spiritual, you're gonna know that there's no such thing as an accident, man. there is actually a reason for everything. So this is just a short lesson. And even for myself, man, because like I said, the brother done in GMS Holland, man, I'll call him an elder because I've been watching him since, from when I first came in his truth, and he's been in the truth for a while now. And so he's done a beautiful lesson. I believe it was yesterday, I watched it today, and he hit on a lot of poignant points, man, about us being mindful. He went into it a bit deeper than I did, but I just wanted to touch on a few things he said, So it's for us to be mindful, man, and check ourselves. Scripture talks about us examining ourselves. But that examination is there's levels to that examination, man. It's not just, okay, I'm not eating pork, I'm not smoking, it's deeper than that, man. It's you ruling your spirit, man. You're not letting anger take over. It's like you're not letting your feelings get the best of you, man, or your emotions get the best of you. Because that's what. Let me get it again from the top. Look at it. Book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if they come to serve the Lord Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart upright and constantly endure. Constantly endure. Constantly endure, because it's an ongoing battle, man. It don't stop, man. Because we're in the flesh. So the flesh is going to be warring against the spirit daily, man. Daily. Like, even before I did this video, man, I was battling the flesh, man. I was saying, okay, it's getting a bit late. Maybe I should do this video tomorrow. But the spirit had it to where now, man. I'll do the video now, man. So it says, constantly enjoy and make not haste in the time of trouble, man. Make not haste, man, in the time of trouble. That means be what, man? Be mindful, be patient. Think, man. Think before you act. And that's a trait that's really a feminine trait, man, to be honest, because women don't tend to think before they act or speak even. They just act, upon impulse. I call it primal mode, man. And we know that a lot of the men of our nation, we know that they've been raised by one parent households, normally that being the mother. These are part of the curses. But then they pick up that feminine trait, man, of just acting out, man, before using their brain, which is really, the blessing a man has, man. The blessing to where he's meant to be able to see the whole picture, man. Then act upon it, man. Not, getting his feelings and emotions and an act of impulse, man, and be hasty, man. That's gonna lead to you not having peace in the end, man. But turmoil and worry and stress and all these other things, man, that are, that are detrimental to your health, man, spiritually and physically, man. So it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased by the last end, man. And what's that being increased by the last? And that's that your faith is where it needs to be for you to constantly endure to the end, man. The scripture says that he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved, man. So this battle, man, so it's going to be an ongoing battle to the end, man. And Lord willing, we endure to the end, man. Yaharatazar, man. And can't be counted worthy of that beautiful number. And not the other number, man. So yeah, Israel, man. Brothers, just, stay mindful. Stay mindful, man. Fear in everything, man. But don't let your feelings and emotions take over, your reason. So yeah, on that note, I'm just gonna end this video here and say, Kah Allah, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Baha, Ukah Kadash, and Shalom and Wahab to the elect of Israel scattered, man. Shalom.